Brother lads, welcome back to the Cossy podcast. My name is Cossy. We'll come back to a brand new video. This is the latest Arsenal news and transfer news as well. Arsenal rejected a mega bid from Olympique Marseille for Nketiah. It was worth 27 million euros. Arsenal went up to 35 million euros, and they think they can get that value for the player. So Olympique Marseille have to try again. Arsenal among three clubs that think they can sign Bruno Guimaraes this summer, and they will revisit the situation later in the summer as Newcastle is believed to have financial problems. We are still searching for a winger, and Pedro is among the players that we are looking to sign. Nico Williams, the situation has not changed, but Arsenal are not going away, and Pedro is wanted at the club this summer. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel as well as we dive into the biggest stories around Arsenal in the last 24 hours. Now, let's just start off with that big story exclusively from Fabrizio Romano, and he's confirming that Arsenal rejected today a new proposal from Olympique Marseille for Nketiah. Fabrizio says that he understands the proposal was in the region of 27 million euros, and it was still considered not enough to let Eddie leave by Arsenal. Olympique Marseille already agreed personal terms with the player, but still no agreement between the two clubs at the moment. So Arsenal still saying if we got 40 million euros from the sale of Emile Smith-Rowe, who has not played a lot of football, we are going to get more money from the sale of Nketiah. And I think it's a little bit fair enough. I think the problem we have at Arsenal right now is that Nketiah is not wanted by so many clubs. If maybe Crystal Palace and Leicester and Olympique Marseille were all fighting for the same player, maybe Arsenal could get some good money. But the problem is that it's only Olympique Marseille, and the players already agreed personal terms with Olympique Marseille. So in the end, it's either we keep the player and we push Marseille away, or we just allow them to take him for around 27 to 30 million euros. Now, personally, I thought 27 million euros would be enough because it was rumored yesterday that Marseille were planning to give us 27 million euros. And I was like, maybe it's enough. Maybe it's a good offer, but Arsenal saying we need more. If we got times 2 that for Emile Smith-Rowe, we are actually going to require more money in the sale of Eddie Nketiah. So let's wait and see if Olympique Marseille come back with a new bid. The feeling is they'll come back one more last time, and that could be the one. If they come back for Nketiah with a bid of around 30 to 35 million euros, in my opinion, I think Arsenal must accept. Arsenal must agree to that as well. So today, Arsenal have held the final round of talks between them and Real Sociedad about Mikel Merino. That has come about because Arsenal have completed the sale of Emile Smith-Rowe, who has been announced as a new Fulham player today, 27 million plus 7 in add-ons, and also Real Sociedad have announced a new midfielder to come in and replace Mikel Merino, and the name is Lukas Susic from RB Salzburg. So those two deals being done, it is now the time to get the Mikel Merino deal done and out of the way. So two clubs have been discussing. Fabrizio has confirmed that the two clubs have been talking about the structure, and they've been talking about what's going to be add-ons, what's going to be guaranteed, and everything like that. So we wait to see in the next few hours whether we can get the player to fly in for medical, do his media duties, and then we announce him. But the last stages, the final stages of this deal are now getting very, very close. Now, talking about midfielders, today it has been revealed that Arsenal have the enthusiasm and have the desire to sign more than one midfielder this summer. We've talked about Adrian Rabiot in an earlier video, and we've also talked about Fabian Ruiz as well. There is another name in the corridors that we are looking at, and that name is Bruno Guimaraes. Now, according to Team News and Ticks, he says that there are around 3 clubs who believe Newcastle may still have financial issues, and he says if this is the case, Arsenal may try to sign Bruno in a deal involving Aaron Ramsdale. So we have not gone away. We've not gone away from this deal. We've not gone away from the Bruno Guimaraes deal, and it shows you how much Arsenal liked him. It shows you how much Mikel Arteta appreciates the player. It was always going to be about the fee. It was always going to be about the convenience with which you can do the deal. Now, personally, I don't think Arsenal are going to go back for Bruno Guimaraes. I'm sorry to say this. Yes, I know Team News and Ticks has been very good this summer, but he has got some things wrong as well. And this one, is one where I feel is getting it really, really wrong. These are my 3 reasons why I don't think Arsenal are going to sign Bruno Guimaraes this summer. Number one, Newcastle don't have time to replace him. If this deal was going to happen, it could have happened in June. They would have sold him in June. They had a whole 30 days in July, to sell him. Now, and you're saying they could try and sign him in the later days of the summer? Like, literally? I don't see that happen. So this is a deal that for Newcastle wouldn't make any sense. Why would you sell your best player towards the end of the window rather than at the beginning for you to have ample time to replace him? That is number one. I don't think Newcastle are going to sell. They might have financial problems, and that's why clubs like City, clubs like Arsenal are trying to, capitalize on that weakness. But I don't think we are going to see them bend over and sell one of their best midfielders to Arsenal and Manchester City. That's reason number one. Reason number two, I don't think Arsenal are willing to spend a lot of money this summer on a player, and the fee is going to be hectic. The fee is going to be a king's ransom. I don't think Guimaraes is going to move for anything less than £60 million. Look, £60 million for Guimaraes, that's a market opportunity. But are Arsenal really looking to sign a player that is that expensive this summer? No. Honestly, no. When you think about the players we've been linked with and you think about the deals that we are trying to do, they're all less than £60 million. Even Nico Williams, who Arsenal really like and Arsenal are dying, for him, and Arsenal are willing to wait, he is 58.8 million euros. That is significantly lower than £60 million. So I think any deals that will get Arsenal to go 60 millions and above, if it is not a forward player, I don't see that happen. If it's not a player like Osimhen or Gyökeres, I don't see that happen. So Guimaraes, a £60 million addition, £70 million addition in midfield for Arsenal. I don't think Arsenal are going to cough up that amount of money this summer on a player. And then lastly, time. I don't think the time is going to be there. I know it looks like we have a lot of time. Today is the 3rd day of August, and then we have around 15 days to the new Premier League season and around 27 days to the end of the window. But the moment the Premier League starts like this, time is going to fly and time is not going to wait for any man. So think about this. If Arsenal complete Mikel Merino, what is next? Preparing for Leverkusen and Lyon. After that, what is next? Preparing for Wolverhampton Wanderers. After that, you have to prepare for the toughest start we have had in the last 35 years as a football club. So I don't think you're going to have a lot of time to navigate and negotiate the Bruno Guimaraes deal. This is the deal that we should have started on a long time ago if it was going to happen. So for me, Guimaraes off the list at the moment. Arsenal could get a second midfielder. I'm not against that, and I'm not saying it can't happen. We've been linked with Rabiot. That's an easy deal. We've been linked with, Eberechi Eze. That would not be an easy deal, but it's a little bit serviceable and doable. We've been linked with, who's the other player? Fabian Ruiz, Rabiot, and Eze, right? Eze is doable. Fabian Ruiz is doable and serviceable, and so is the Rabiot deal. So with Guimaraes, I appreciate it. I think Arsenal could try. I'm not saying we cannot try. I think we could try, but just a little bit of trying. It's just about trying. Now, Arsenal searching for a winger, and aside the midfield, where we have got one player in Mikel Merino, the wing situation is seen as part of the forward. So Arsenal are looking to sign a forward player, 1 or 2, it will depend, this summer. And a winger is seen as a player, or a winger is seen as an option that is a little bit plausible and possible as compared to, a striker. Arsenal feel like it's easy for you to get a winger this summer than to get, a striker. Now, João Pedro is one of the players that have been linked today, and I talked about João Pedro in one of my videos. You can go and watch it. But I wanted to give you a summation of what's happening with João Pedro. So João Pedro is seen at Arsenal as one of the perfect forwards. He can play anywhere. He can do anything. I think the other player I would say on the market right now that can do a bit of everything, striker, winger, number 10, who is that kind of player that can do anything? I can remember Eden Hazard. I think Hazard could have done that. Fabregas was also forced into that during the tic-tac era of Spain and Barcelona. But there are not so many players, maybe Thierry Henry, there are not so many players on the market right now that you're going to ask to play on the right wing, left wing, center, attacking midfield, and then striker. And then they do it very well. João Pedro is one of them. So if Arsenal want to save money, they could say, how much is it going to cost for us to sign a winger? It would cost us a minimum of 35 million euros. What about a striker? A striker, 50 million euros. That's 85 million euros. So Arsenal could go and agree a deal for around 65 million euros for João Pedro, well, knowing very well that he can play in any of the positions up top. Provides quality on the left, provides cover on the right, provides cover to Kai Havertz and Gabriel Jesus, and can also come in as a number 10 in some games. That would be marvelous. That would be fantastic. So Arsenal want João Pedro. The profile is good, but Brighton are not going to sell. There's no question about that. They've just brought in a new manager, and they have not signed any other striker. Now, of course, they do have Duncan Ferguson and Danny Welbeck, but you think about João Pedro, and the reason as to why they signed him was for him to come in and lead the line. Duncan Ferguson is still a little bit young, and then Welbeck is old, and we know the quality of Danny Welbeck. So I think Pedro will leave Brighton at some point in time. They will sell him. Brighton are not in any way, shape, or form scared of selling a player one summer after they signed him last summer. There's no question about that. But I think if they want to make a real profit on him, this is not the summer they're going to sell. So we have to wait another full summer for us to have a chance to get our hands on João Pedro. But I like him. Now, among the other wingers, the news coming out today is Arsenal are not giving up on Nico Williams yet. They're still there. They're still trying. We are also still monitoring Sané, and we are still looking at Chiesa, and we're also looking at Pedro Neto. However, among all those players that we want, one of them really wants to move to Arsenal, and that is Pedro Neto. It's an update that has been provided today by Team News Antiques, who says that Tottenham wants him, but the player would be excited by the prospect of playing for Arsenal, and he would love to move to Arsenal this summer. If it were not for injuries, I love Pedro Neto. If it were not for injuries, I love this guy. But can you trust him? Can you add Pedro Neto to a squad that has Zinchenko, bedridden, Partey, bedridden, Gabriel Jesus, uncertain, Gabriel Martinelli, uncertain, Ricardo Calafiori has a lot of injuries in his background, Tomiyasu, injury prone. Can you add João Pedro to a squad like that? Like, you would be abnormal. It would be abnormal if we went and did a deal for Pedro Neto. Completely abnormal. But is it going to be a market opportunity? I mean, there are a few clubs interested. If it's going to be a market opportunity, I can see why Arsenal are trying to open their teeth on Pedro Neto. I can see why he's in the list. But we have also been told he is low on the list. He's not among the priorities. He's actually among the players that Arsenal like, we didn't get Sané, we didn't get Nico Williams, we didn't get Chiesa, we didn't get Rafinha. Let's go for Pedro Neto. It's interesting how Arsenal feel that a £50 million signing, a potential £50 million signing, or even £60 million signing, is among the less priority players and less priority options on our list. Like, are we smoking something? Right? Quite interesting. With Nico Williams, I've made my thoughts very clear. Arsenal are just wasting time, and I think we love wasting time. Instead of waiting for Nico Williams to pay 58.8 million euros, get that money, bring in Victor Gyökeres. I will be glad. I'll be happy. If we can get that money, add the 27 that we are being given, because we would spend 60 million euros on Nico Williams. If we add 27 million euros on top of that, that would be 82. Huh? 87. 87. Yeah, 87. 87 million euros and bring in Victor Gyökeres. Deal makes more sense. He's a player that would massively help Arsenal. He's a player we need in a position we need to upgrade. So 100%. I don't hate Nico Williams, but it's a wastage of time. he wants Barca. Barca wants him. Bilbao are dragging him to stay. Bilbao would rather sell to Barcelona. There's so many things and there's so many reasons why you've got to stay away from that deal. The perfect one would be Chiesa, but Chiesa. Chiesa feels washed. I mean, the talks, the reports about Chiesa feel washed. So I feel like Sane is strong. I've seen an update from Fabrizio saying that Bayern have not yet been rejected by Desire Doué, and Bayern actually right now are in the front seat for the deal, and it's PSG following the matters. Do you know what that means? That means that Doué could end up at Bayern. You know, remember Doué can play as a midfielder and also as a winger, and now they have Olise as well. So we could see a Bayern team that brings in Doué, and then they bring in Olise. Hello, Leroy Sané, are you there? And honestly, I believe the Leroy Sané deal has some legs. It's just about the price. That 58 million euros, if they can reduce on that, 55 million euros, if they can reduce on that, I feel it's a deal that could happen this summer. But anyway, that is the Arsenal transfer roundup.